Okay, then we do enter the Inquisition. Dave Fisher had questions about Hot Wacks. We did Hot Wacks in the January 2019 Please Hold. And I thought that when Fisher sent me the fax, I was thinking, I think I remember talking about Hot Wacks, but I couldn't remember if it was way back in the blog and mail days. It seemed more recent than that. So we covered it pretty exhaustively.
I sent him the link. He's like, well, this looks pretty long, but I'll read it later type thing. But apparently he used to buy Hot Wacks off the newsstand or wherever back in the day, and that's where he first encountered Dave Sim, and didn't know that's where he first encountered Dave Sim.
Right. It was just this was the magazine. The overview that I would attach to it in 40 years retrospect, which is what I'm doing now. Big picture, most people are interested in comic art the way I, Dave Sim, am interested in music. Not at all. And completely incurious. So that I would supplement that Hot Wacks was like a backwards and forwards in time. Obviously, the music business, particularly rock and roll, was as close to as we had gotten as a society to the infernal, although it started pretty innocuously. Most infernal things do. And it seemed like okay, let's plug Dave Sim backward and forward in time into this and see what we come up with. And what she came up with was basically just a magazine full of hot chick photos, some verging on softcore pornography, because that was Dave Sim's interest in that end, and really not much about the music apart from the funny borderline between the legal and the illegal, which of course is always of interest to the infernal side of reality. And I think the reason that Hot Wacks manifested, and Kurt Glemser, who was Blue Flake Productions, was because that did fall in a sort of ley line from my sensibility, where even before it came down to, okay, this is what we're talking about here. This is what Dave Sim is going to be tested on through Hot Wacks and through my indirect connection to bootleg records at Now and Then Books, because bootleg records occupied one whole bin at the downstairs at Now and Then Books, which is where I was working. That was already a borderline crossed, where bootleg records would ordinarily be sold under the counter. You would have to know the owner of the store, and you'd have to know him pretty well before he would say, okay, I will, give you a list of the bootleg records that I've got. No, Harry was very open and above board about possessing illegal material, and just putting it out as, here's where you find the bootleg records. Which, when the RCMP did their big raids on all of the bootleg record outlets here in the Golden Triangle, Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, they scooped all of Harry's records, and it's like, you might get these back, you might not get these back. These are illegal things. You don't sell illegal things open and above board. My ethical take on it was, and I could only relate it to the comic art field, and this wasn't going to occur, and still hasn't really occurred in the comic art field, but I had already settled this in my own mind. The analogy would be that bootleg records, which are really just recordings, illegal recordings of concerts, the bands and the record companies in collusion decided jointly that no, we have zero tolerance for this. Anybody who tries doing bootleg concert recordings is we're going to land on them with hobnail boots. And it's like the analogy for me from the band point of view was that the bands didn't want this because live recordings are notoriously sloppy because it's a live recording. Usually the band, everybody in the band has already at least smoked a joint before going on stage, and it's okay. This is roughly our hits, but when you compare them to the live recording, which has been meticulously produced, this is garbage, and we don't want people listening to our garbage. And the analogy for me in the comic book field would be somebody who was so devout a Cerebus fan that they have collected good quality scans of all of my convention sketches, and they're going to do a 500-page book of every convention sketch Dave Sim ever did. It's like, okay, from the perspective of a cartoonist, the same as a band, it's like I don't have the proper materials at a convention, and sometimes I'm drawing it at a drawing board tilt, and sometimes I'm drawing it flat, so everything's skewing off to the left. But it's a compliment if your fans are devout enough to record your concerts and they want to make it available. They're fans and they're making it available to devout fans. I can't see anything wrong with that. It's like you're the band. Don't listen to it. I would not be a good target market for a 500-page book of all of my convention sketches. I'd be going through it going, oh, God, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's really bad. The occasional one where I go, okay, that one doesn't suck too badly, but it would have looked a lot better if I'd done it in the studio. It's not, I'm not the target market for it. And of course, one of my foundations in doing Cerebus was going, John Lennon said, when they said Elvis died, and he went, Elvis died when he went in the Army, which is, a killer line. I go, well, okay, the capper to that is John Lennon died when he met Yoko Ono. And back before that, John Lennon died when he signed his recording contract, because artists in collusion with companies come up with bad ideas. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles could have said back in 1964, when they were calling the shots before they signed their contract, we want to have all of our concerts recorded and offered for sale, because everybody's an obsessive Beatles or Rolling Stones fan. So instead of doing one record every 6 months or every year or whatever it is, every time we do a concert, we record it and we make it available to the fans by whatever means necessary. So let it be written, so let it be done. You would have found, and you would still find that there's a real market for that. That it's okay. You're not going to like it, but you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for the fans. Taylor Swift seems to be almost getting there, where she's now authorized them to do movies, a movie of concert footage while she's still doing her concert tour. What is it called? It's the Eras Tour?
Yes. And,
yeah.
And my daughters and my wife are going next month to see it.
Well, there you go. It's, to me, the poor man's Mecca, but God bless him.
Well, I got the message from Paula of I bought three tickets to this, and I'm going, okay, so which one of us is taking a bullet for the team and going? And she's like, what, you want to go? I'm like, no, I very much, one of us has to suffer through this. I'm willing to be a good husband, and I'll step up and take the bullet if you don't want to go. And she's like, no, I'll have fun, I'll go. And meanwhile, Janice is bedazzling a pair of sunglasses so that she can wear them to the theater. I'm like, it's not really a concert. You're going a step too far, but okay.
Right.
Janice has also informed me that when the original to the Glamour Puss page shows up, that's hers now. And I'm going, yeah, you'll get it when you pry it from my cold, dead hands, but go ahead, kid. Tell yourself it's yours.
Well, I couldn't fix that. I want to get back to my story,
yeah.
But I couldn't fix that. But I did, before all of the Beer and Iguana and Avril and Taylor prints disappeared, I did put two of them aside, one of which I personalized to Janice Pearl, and one of which I personalized to Bullwinkle. So those should be on their way to you as we speak, because Rolly was packaging those packages up today.
Okay.
So getting back to there's still time to fix the music business now that it's pretty much rotting on the vine. Taylor Swift at this point could say, okay, every time that I set up for a concert, everything goes through the soundboard, and we need a seat of the pants on the fly mixer who can mix all of the sound as professionally as possible. We're not asking miracles here. We're just saying do the best that you can. And handheld cameras. I mean, you've got practically a stadium full of people with high-resolution filming capabilities. While I'm doing the concert is being put together as a film, and by the end of the week, this is on its way to the Cineplexes, so that you can not only go and see the film of the Eras Tour while it's still going on, you can see every stop on the Eras Tour. And it's like, these Cineplexes are empty. You could fill them with Swifties. 5 years from now, you won't be able to fill them with Swifties. But you can fill them with Swifties right now, the same as it would have happened back in 1964 if you said, every stop on the Beatles' 1964 tour is being turned into a film as we speak and being rushed to the cinemas. It would be bonanza. It's like Taylor Swift is moving the gross domestic product for the entire United States by virtue of the fact that when she does things like that, it generates money. But nobody listens to me. But you could do it the same way just with the sound. It's like as soon as the Phoenix stop is over, it's being mixed on the fly and then put on the internet. And don't any expertise people be whining about the sound quality is really bad. It's not about the sound quality. It's about the fact that it's Taylor Swift's Phoenix concert, and I was there, and I want a copy of it, and I couldn't afford to be there, and I want a copy of it. It's a license to print money. Don't be stupid.
Well, that's Paula bought the tickets and they sold. I think they're showing it on 6 screens at the multiplex, and they sold out every single screening. And she's going, Taylor Swift has to be the richest woman in the world, and I'm like, well, Oprah, but okay, yeah, sure, go ahead and think that. And to prove me wrong, Paula looked up who the richest women in the world were, and Oprah's not even in the top 10, and I'm like, there you go. This is what I'm saying. Taylor Swift's, today, she's probably on her way into the top 10, but she's not quite there yet.
Well, this also ties in with good old Jimmy Buffett as well. The obit that I read in the National Post, and I wish I'd photocopied it, it's gone now, was saying I was the only one interested in the business side. So he was as interested in the business side of his music as he was in the music. And consequently, Margaritaville Incorporated did very, very well by Jimmy Buffett. We don't know what kind of a businesswoman Taylor Swift is. The Beatles had a license to print money. The Rolling Stones had a license to print money. And they fumbled the ball completely, all the way down. For the Beatles, we'll let Brian Epstein take care of it. That's Brian's end of things. It's like, no, that's not Brian's end of things. It's your business. And this is your chance to get it right, but it's only right now. As you say, I mean, it's look at Madonna. It's she has to keep rescheduling her tour because people don't want to see Madonna the way they wanted to see Madonna at one time. The same with Britney Spears. It's like, where is Britney Spears supposed to be getting her money from now? Not her then money when she was the Britney Spears on the cover of every magazine, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, you have to decide that at the time, and you have to pay very strict attention. And you're going to have to end up deciding whether you want to be Taylor Swift artist or Taylor Swift CEO. That ties in with the whole Turtles thing. Well, I asked Kevin, when did you hit the wall on that? Where you had to decide, am I the Kevin Eastman who writes and draws the Turtles, or am I the CEO of Mirage Studios? And it's like you said, that was overnight once the animated cartoon happened. I hope that isn't happening with Taylor Swift, but it's you tend to opt for the Hollywood glitz and glamour and backstage parties and the actual performance, the experience of performing in front of the people. Meanwhile, X number of vultures are backstage and surrounding you, and all of the actual money is getting siphoned away, or a good percentage of it is. I hope that isn't the case, but if you're doing the Eras tour, and it's a very intense tour, and if you're concentrating on getting every night as good as you can get it, somebody else is playing Simon Legree. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. Okay, that's enough of that.